How's the year been in this first quarter for LAWMA?
Well, it's been quite challenging. We're making a lot of progress. As you know, the rains are practically upon us. And one of the things that we've been working very hard on at LAWMA is preparing the dump sites for the rainy season. And we've done a lot of work on that. And we believe we're almost ready.
Right. Okay, to prepare the job site, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll talk about that during the course of the program. But your mandate is to ensure that the environment is very, very clean through effective waste collection. So, what are the strategies that you guys are deploying to achieve this?
Well, the system in Lagos, everyone is aware that we have PSP operators. And we want Lagosians to patronize these PSP operators. I'm aware that many people believe that they're not expected to pay for waste collection, and that is not true. You must patronize the PSP operator assigned to your ward, and you must pay for waste collection, and waste collection must be weekly. And if you have any issues, we have toll-free lines that you can call to make your complaints, which we will address immediately.
All right. All right. I'm sure that we'll give those lines too. But is there a way that you categorize waste or are all waste the same? Or
Well,
do you guys categorize them?
yes, well, we have the household waste. That's the one that people normally generate in their residence.
Okay.
And we have the commercial waste, which is the ones that they generate from the place of business.
All right, the corporate environment.
Yes, so we have different
Kinds of waste.
yes.
And then you have the medical waste too.
We have medical waste
All
as
right,
well.
so
We have market waste, so on and so forth. Depending on the source of that waste,
right.
we categorize.
So let's talk about the household waste now, which is domestic waste evacuation. How is that aspect? How's it going on so far so good?
It's going on. In many areas, we find that there's good compliance with the need to patronize PSP operators, where people are actually paying and they have collection going on regularly. In some areas, we have issues where either people are not complying, they don't want to pay for waste. Those are the ones that I heard some of your callers complaining about. Those ones who dump indiscriminately on the roadside.
Yes.
Forcing us to have to respond to go and pick up. This is an aberration. It's abnormal and it's against the law. And we do have enforcement mechanism to arrest those people. And when they are arrested, we take them to courts and sentence them to community service.
Now, for the purpose of clearer understanding then, how many times are the PSP operators supposed to visit the tenement, for instance?
Weekly.
Weekly?
At least once a week.
Once a week?
Yes.
All right. Because we just heard from a caller there who said somewhere around Agbili Ekoro Road, he sees that people are dumping it, despite the fact that the PSP operators are coming regularly. He's talked about that. So I'm sure that you'll be able to take that action away to go and see what's happening within that corridor, Agbili Ekoro Road. But
yes.
for people who violate this, really, for people who are not keen into the idea of the PSP operators, how do you carry out enforcement? Or is that a part of your responsibility?
Yes, it is. We have enforcement teams who move around the city, and we also have waste policing units, which are groups of young men drawn from within each community. And you can see them from different locations. They're normally in reflective vests, and they stand and make sure that people do not dump where they're not supposed to dump. And if they still insist on dumping, they have the power to make arrest and take those people for trial and sentencing at the environmental court.
Okay. Where is that? You have an environmental court?
We have at Oshodi, and we have mobile courts as well.
Okay.
So some may be aware that recently we publicized some of these people that were caught and convicted, and we use them in cleaning the roads and working at the dump sites.
Right.
Yes.
Now, is it to say that you guys work with Lagesk?
Yes, we work with Lagesk, and as a matter of fact, we've already started a intensive community advocacy where we'll be working with the environmental health officers in each local government. Many of us recall the time when the Wole Wole was very active and strong. They're still among us, but at LAWMA, we've started working more closely with them. So they are really the enforcement law. They have the power to arrest and prosecute as well. And we want to work with them in the local community, as well as with the neighborhood watch and all the security apparatus in each local government. We'll be visiting every local government this year
Okay.
on a weekly basis, and along with the PSP operators and the community leaders, the CDA, CDC, and we're going to sit with each community, discuss the issues that they may have, whether they have complaints about PSP operators, maybe they have complaints about payment issue
Right.
or billing. We want to try and address that community to community.
Okay,
And,
so you're going to have much more community engagement
oh
this
yes,
year.
yes, we will.
All right, let me take this reaction that came in earlier on before you just came into the studio. Afolabi from Ikorodu talked about your work at Kokore Abu. He says you guys have done a lot of work there, cleaning up the refuse dump around that location, but he's concerned about sustainability. So, what would be your response to him?
That's the response. Sustainability requires the cooperation of the community. It requires us to educate them on the proper way of waste management. And subsequently, we now introduce enforcement mechanisms. But in many areas, we want the community to police themselves, because having illegal dump sites and dumping waste close to where you live is a public health hazard. You know, now we have coronavirus, and there's so many other threats like
Right.
cholera, like Lassa fever, directly related to improper waste management.
Right.
So we want to educate people about the risk. It's a danger to your life and your health to dump your waste where you're not supposed to dump.
Right. But I'm bringing back to the microphone Dr. Muyiwa Gbadegeshin, Managing Director of LAWMA. All right, so before we went on that break, we're just trying to sample your views on what LAWMA is going to be doing, especially now that we are talking of how to contain the coronavirus disease. So what's LAWMA's role in all of this? Let's hear from you right now.
Okay, thank you for that question. The first and foremost, at LAWMA, we've taken steps to protect our own workers because we feel it's important. We're like a first line operator to clear waste and to maintain the environment. So what we do is that before any of our workers or even visitors enter any of our facilities, we check their temperatures, and they have to sanitize their hands. We take extra measures within the facilities as well.
Right.
And of course, our workers are protected. They use protective gear when they're out working. So
you pass that message to them in terms of advocacy to them as well.
Yes.
Let's talk about medical waste evacuation. What are you guys doing in that regard? Because now that this is going to be within the facilities, that people will come in contact with is the medical facilities. So what are you guys going to be doing in that regard?
What we've done, and even in a normal time when you don't have a pandemic like coronavirus, we take extensive measures to ensure that anyone handling medical waste is fully kitted and protected from any kind of pathogen. We have specialized medical PSP operators, and they have specialized bags, color-coded bags, and refrigerated vans with which they evacuate this biological waste from the various facilities. And they are required to do training and retraining on an ongoing basis. So it's a specialized operation. It's not like our normal waste evacuation. So during when we have a corona, outbreaks like coronavirus, we now take additional measures, and we do training, and we've started that. Even with the regular PSP operators, we did meet with them yesterday, and we've been passing out public health messages and training them as well.
Right. Let's talk about the landfill sites. Earlier on, you mentioned something about that. Any plans to reform your landfills?
Yes, as you know, the state has taken measures to begin phasing out some of those landfill sites. One of those measures is sorting at source, with a view to reducing the total amount of waste that has to go to the landfill. And I'm taking this opportunity to appeal to Lagosians again that you must begin separating your waste at source, meaning that those things that are reusable, we don't want you to dump plastics, papers, and metals into your general waste containers.
Right.
We want you to set them aside because they do have economic value, and we have recyclers who are willing to take those off your hands.
And that's the question now that will come up next, because when you talk about recycling, so do you have any active program for recycling within the LAWMA agency?
Yes, we do. We launched, you will recall that Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on the 5th of September last year launched the Blue Box Recycling Program. And this is the what I just referred to as the Sorting at Source program. and we're currently piloting in 5 local governments. That's Oshodi, Solo, Surulere, Ikeja, Iru, Victoria Island, and also in Lekki. And the pilot is going very well. We've been able to collect more than 14 tons of plastic recyclables,
Right.
which have been given over to off-takers who require them. And we are going to expand this into other communities, and we'll be setting up buyback centers and collection centers in various locations like petrol stations, in malls. And we're also distributing recyclable bags that were provided by Mr. Governor. We've been distributing these to all the 5 local governments and at many public events.
Is this free?
These are free. The bags are free.
Okay.
We want people, we want to incentivize people to embrace the program. And
Right.
in the next 1 or 2 months, we're going to introduce an incentive program whereby you'll be, if you're a recycler, if you are somebody who is recycling, you'll be given a card which will record the points so that you can then redeem these points for things like rebates on your waste bill. You will be able to get rebates on your transport fare,
Right.
on health insurance, on school fees. So we're looking to how, for example, let me give you a statistic that many people may not be aware of.
Okay.
Lagos generates 1 million tons of plastic bottles every year.
1
From
million.
all these, yes, all these Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
All the
what
PET
have you, all these
bottles.
PET bottles that we see littering the environment. The economic value on the open market is about $200 per ton. That means we are basically throwing away $200 million worth of material every year that goes to the dump field sites.
Right.
And we need to put a stop to this and begin to sort that material and sell on to those who need it. And even those who are sorting it will be able to get some money back into their pockets as well.
Right. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. And so you're encouraging people to more or less sort their waste. Is that also to encourage people to have a second waste bin, or how?
Absolutely, and that's why we call it the blue box. Now by law, every household must have a container for waste. That's in our law right now, and it's something we'll begin enforcing at the local government level in the next 1 to 2 weeks. You must have a waste bin for waste. Now we're now encouraging people to start having a separate waste bin
Okay.
for recyclables.
Right. So that means you must sort the ones that are not recyclable. You put them in the number waste bin, and then the ones that are to be recycled, you have a blue box for it, right?
Yes.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well.
This is Falabi again.
Okay, Falabi is back.
Yeah, we've been in traffic, and I'm in my Bluetooth as usual.
Okay.
We've been, quietly with Oga there. We really appreciate. He has done a lot of talking, which I think they are very germane, as far as this subject matter is concerned. But my observation is this: when I mean sustainability, I mean that they should have some enforcement or agency that will take some people as a scapegoat. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I've done in my own capacity. These people, they will look down on you. They want to fight you. I don't have anything to protect myself.
Okay.
You understand? That's what I mean. They should get some people that will be visible, that will scare them when they see them. Oh, you can't do this, otherwise you'll be arrested. That is number one.
Okay.
Number two, as regards the sorting of the waste from the recycling one or recycling one. I think we should always try and be factoring in some of the semi-urban area in whatever project we are doing.
Okay.
In fact, this is the fourth on the line because they are still coming up, unlike some other area that has fully developed. So I can see you mentioned those local government now. We can't see Ikorodu there. We can't hear that.
Okay.
If you put all these places in forward, like we were talking about the development of the software the other time, the way they did it, it should be 50 centimeters away from the one or another. Remember that time, Victor?
Right.
This program is supposed to study our area before the thing that is fully developed. Because we are coming up, we should get all these things.
Okay.
Usually carry them along. I think we are not part of Lagos.
All right. Afolabi, where are you at the moment on the road? Where are you?
Presently, I tell you.
And how is it coming in from Ikorodu?
Yes. For the roundabout is better up to Itowulu. From Itowulu, we started moving gradually. And personally, I tell you.
Okay. All right then. Thank you so much for your concern. We've taken note of that. That's the first caller, Afolabi, talking about sustainability, and he's equally advocated for the sorting program to be brought to Ikorodu corridor too. Let's hear from you, 0809 912 0777. Hello, good morning. Hello there. Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, it's a very bad connection. We'll have to reconnect with you. Let's see if we can get a better reception by the time you reconnect with us. 0809 912 0777. This is an extended version of Your Side Mirror. Talk to me. Hello there.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I just want to.
What's your name?
Let you know my name is Ayo.
Ayo, where are you calling from?
Oh, good.
Oh, good. All right, go ahead.
Yes, in recent times, I've noticed that these are truck pushers. I'm seeing them everywhere. A few years back, we were not seeing them anymore. Are they doing anything about them?
Okay.
These truck pushers that pick up dirt and they keep throwing it in places where unauthorized places. There seems to be a lot of in them now.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Ayo.
Okay, bye.
Right. Right. So maybe I just allow you to respond to that, Dr. Gbadegeshin.
Okay, thank you. Well, to Ayo's question about cart pushers, and it's also related to Folabi's comments earlier about enforcement.
All right.
Where we do need to improve that enforcement mechanism. And like I mentioned, that's something that we've already started working on. And our approach is to engage with the community and to establish that enforcement at the local level. It's not until somebody is coming from Alausa to do enforcement in Ikorodu or Badagry, you will not get such good results. And that's why I mentioned that our strategy this time around is to go directly to each community and organize that community along the concept of waste management for a greater Lagos. It's a community-driven approach.
All right.
So, for example, Holabi mentioned sorting at source, coming to the semi-urban areas. We are coming to Ikorodu. We've scheduled it. So we're going to come to Ikorodu. When we come...
So you shouldn't feel left out.
No, you shouldn't feel left out. We are going to establish a community recycling center in each of those locations, where the people within that community will know that you can bring your recyclables there. And we'll also introduce a recycling company. They will come with us. We introduce them to the community and tell them, look, these are the people who will buy all these materials. So they don't need to be throwing it by the roadside again.
Right.
Yeah, so that's our plan. This is something we're starting from next week.
Oh, good.
And we'll let you know, we'll share the schedule with you so you can inform your listeners about when they should expect LAWMA to come to the
very good
community.
All right, then go ahead.
Yes. I want to ask this PSP, because in my area, they've not been coming. They come occasionally.
And where's your area?
It's all.
Okay. So what's your question? So what's your question now?
Sir?
What is your question?
The question is, since they are not coming, we are paying for the services. We are not enjoying the services that we are paying for.
Okay. All right. Do you know the name of your PSP operator? Covenant. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Let's go back to that then, Dr. Gbadegeshin. He's talking about the PSP servicing his own area around the soil of Covenant, not showing up regularly. What's your response to that?
Okay, well, like I mentioned earlier, there's some areas where the PSP operators may be facing challenges. And this is understandable because we are all aware of the years of the policy somersault when the businesses were destroyed. It's a capital-intensive business. So what we do at LAWMA is that we work closely with them. We're providing various levels of support. In our meeting with them yesterday, we indicated that those facing challenges will be meeting with them in the next 2 or 3 days. and look for how to support them. And those that cannot meet up, will be changing them. We've given enough time since the return of the PSP system, and believe that from now on, we'll be much more stricter going forward.
Let's talk about Engineer Boston's concern about waste to wealth and leveraging on recycling technology.
Yes, I did. I gave some of the figures to show that there's actually wealth in waste, and the Lagos State government under this administration of Babajide Sanwo-Olu is very committed to entrenching this concept of waste to wealth. And it's not until we build, most people, when they think waste to wealth, they're thinking waste to energy, power plants. No, there are so many other technologies we can use. For example, we have the cement manufacturers now, like Lafarge and Dangote, seriously looking into how they can use various types of waste to power their cement furnaces.
Right.
And we're working closely with them. And this is something that can take up to 25–30% of all the waste generated in Lagos. So that's waste to wealth.
Okay.
Also, many of the plastics will end up being used in that form as well.
All right.
And we're exploring the latest technologies to try and reduce what amount of waste that we generate.
All right. So Jim Dell is another one from Shegun around Ikorodu. Say Jim Dell, that's the PSP operator that services them. Doesn't show up regularly. I think you've answered that in part as well.
Yes.
That you're having a meeting with them very, very soon. Is that correct?
Yes,
All
we
right.
will.
Let's take the last set of calls before we wrap up things on the program this morning. 0809-912-0777. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Victor.
What's your name, sir?
Abiodun is my name. Very happy to get you.
Thank God that you got through. So where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Muyiwa, but I'm staying around Meron.
Okay.
That's around Abule side.
All right.
And it is a very big problem in our area, very challenging. The first thing I just want to say is, I mean, help the government to get to the grassroots. In which way? The first way is, please, can government reach to the landlord? Give them do and don't.
Okay.
The landlords will get to their tenants.
Okay.
Doing this, there's no you won't pay your landlord. Because
Right.
you won't want anything to affect someone giving you a shelter, right? So that's the best way. There are some area in my place, there's some area around my street. So you get, for you to walk there, sometimes you have to cover your nose. People are not they are not maintaining their waste well. I just want to thank God that this last everything is not getting to our area. A lot of people will have been affected, and the LAWMA, they are not coming. So the other guy saying people dumping waste around
Agbele Ekoro.
there's no way it won't happen.
Okay.
Because people have a lot of waste. They are finding somewhere to dispose it, and they know they used to come to that Ekoro to pack it.
Yeah, but he's saying that the PSP operators within that Agbele Ekoro road, they do show up, they come around.
Tell him where they do show up. If they show up, how come people are going there to dump their waste? And this thing, I think the government should make it a paramount. It should be under must for everybody to pay for waste. The reason why I'm saying this is, if you're forced to pay, you will be forced. You will not. You will be the one calling out that who have paid though, if no come.
Okay.
So you get
Right.
instead of finding ways of disposing our waste. So if government can get through to the LCD, or how they call it, landlord association, give them, if your house environment is not clean, it's not apart from the wole or what they call them now.
Right.
So you get, then we as the Lagosian will be the one giving them info. Come and see this house, come and help it up.
Okay. All right. We've taken note of that.
You understand?
Right, Biodu.
That's the best way you can go about it, because people like me and some other people like me now, walking around seeing something that is not you are that obvious, they will always want to report. Give us a portal to report.
Okay.
I will make videos. I will take pictures.
All right, then we've taken note of your concern. Because of time constraints, really, Biodu, we have to let you go. Thank you for that one. And Dr. Gbadegeshin, anything in terms of you relating with the local government chairman and the officials within the local government area, so that you can have the environment much cleaner?
Yes, that is the essence of the community outreach program that I've been talking about. We're working with the Ministry of Local Governments and all the local government chairmen, and also the environmental health officers. That's
Right.
the Wole Wole.
Okay.
So we will be using them as the primary champions for cleanliness at the local
level. And
Yes.
in your response to Biodu now, are you going to be doing something about the PSPs within the mayoral corridor so that they can
Yes,
have
absolutely.
them much more?
Yes.
Okay, then. All right. So we're heading for the finish line this morning. You talked about some lines that people can, report some of these to you. You talk about some toll-free lines. Is that correct?
Yes.
So
And
let's have them.
That line is 070 80 60 10 20.
Okay.
Let me repeat that again. 070 80 60 10 20.
All right. So they can report to that line anytime they have any infractions within their locality, or perhaps the PSP operators not servicing them very well.
Yes.
They can call that line as well.
Yes.
All right. The website for LAWMA is still the same, right?
Yes, it is.
All right.
That's lawma.gov.ng.
All right. So we have to go now. I must say a very big thank you to you for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure as always.
Great. So I'll be speaking with the managing director of LAWMA, that's Dr. Muyiwa Gbadegeshin. Like you heard from him, if you have any infractions with your waste, or perhaps the PSP is not servicing you very well, just send a message, or you can call 070 80 60 10 20. Maximum thanks to Koride Bamshile, who has produced the program this morning. Akin Akileye is Assistant Director Public Affairs for LAWMA, and of course, Obina also in the mix. Not forgetting Toye Lawal. Thank you so much for making this program a success this morning. All right, your side mirror will return at the usual time tomorrow. But till then, this is Victor Terry. I'm saying keep your environments clean and let's uphold things that will relate to environmental sustainability. Bye.